This is the story of the American Revolution. We had just broken free from England, and we became the 13 original colonies. Not long after, the French and Indian War broke out. In this battle, the British actually helped the colonists win the war against the French. Of course, King George III from England wanted the colonies to repay him and his soldiers for their help during the French and Indian War. He thought, what better way than to tax them? First was the Sugar Act, which placed a tax on sugar, molasses, and rum. Next came the Stamp Act, which placed a stamp on any paper good, including paper cards or newspapers. Next came the Quartering Act, which forced any colonist to house and feed any British soldiers serving in North America. Of course, this made the colonists very angry, and rightly so. Then comes the famous tax on tea. The colonists, of course, revolted. A group called the Sons of Liberty boarded a British ship in Boston Harbor and pretended to be Mohawk Indians and dumped the tea. When King George III of England heard about the Boston Tea Party, he immediately put a blockade on Boston Harbor, preventing any ships from entering or leaving until the tea was paid back. Meanwhile, the colonists were getting angrier and angrier. That group of colonists was standing around one day, taunting and teasing a group of British soldiers. They retaliated by firing in the crowd. The group was unarmed, of course, and Crispus Attucks was the first man to die fighting for independence. The colonists were enraged. Tensions between the 13 colonies and Britain grew and grew, until finally the colonists had it. They thought, how can King George III control us from over there, 3,000 miles away? Soon, a call went out to all the colonies to band together. So, a group of farmers got together and tried to defeat the British Army at Lexington and Concord. The colonists asked General George Washington from Virginia to be the leader of the Continental Army. They now became known as Patriots. However, the Patriots soon realized that the British were properly forming their lines for battles. And the Patriots didn't. Soon generals from the Continental Army got together and decided their troops needed to be properly trained. Their next battle was the Battle of Bunker Hill. The Patriots worked hard that day, but unfortunately they lost the battle because they ran out of ammo. Next was the battle at Trenton and Princeton. That winter, they spent at Valley Forge, where the French leader, Baron von Steuben, properly trained the soldiers. When the fighting resumed, the Patriots finally won at the Battle of Saratoga. This victory became the turning point of the war, because this is when the French decided to help the colonies. So with the aid of the French, the Patriots won the battle and the war at Yorktown. The British finally surrendered. America had won the war, and we were a new nation.